You don't realize it yet, but movement is happening now. This is exactly how you need to think for your SP to reflect it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For any returning viewers and subscribers, we are talking about different types of movement. So I've delved into this obviously a lot over the years on my channel. And today I'm specifically talking about how to create movement, what leads to that movement, so you know exactly where your focus should be, the only things to concern yourself with during the manifesting process for a relationship and your specific person, and basically what is creating this fast movement that people seem to get with their specific person. So keep watching until the end, because I'm going to help you guys understand the exact points of how to speed up movement, get really consistent movement. So you want to keep watching till the end. But yeah, on screen, before I jump right into my advice, we're going to have all the usual info, the extra support that you guys can get, my LOA Coaching Darling membership, or literally one-to-one coaching products and services that you guys can get. Everything is linked below, so take a look. And now let's start the video. So just a quick basic overview to really simplify it, keep it simple and easy. You are shifting your own assumptions and beliefs. What you're doing with manifesting is changing the way you think, what you believe, what is true in your reality, and therefore also the assumptions and beliefs are being changed for your specific person, for the person who, ideally fits your relationship. So for your own manifestation, just insert, whoever that right person would be. They are being inspired, impacted, essentially conforming to that new version, to those beliefs that you're assuming of having a happy, healthy relationship, commitment, all the positive things that I hope you guys are focusing on. And then some more specific examples of what does it mean that their assumptions and beliefs are shifting. So it could also, and often does if there is a history there, involve some form of revision. And that comes up naturally. You don't have to literally take on the revision format of affirmations or anything. It would be things like forgetting old fights, or if they don't know you, for example, or it's kind of brand new, maybe you're manifesting someone new, forgetting and kind of shifting their dating limitations, of assuming, well, I can't date right now, or I'm not ready, or I'm still holding on to what happened with my ex, or whatever assumptions they may have. Obviously they can't go in with that. Again, if you're focusing on a positive end result, there can't be blocks, limitations and issues or trauma to deal with. All of that in its own way, in its own timing, gets resolved, forgotten about, revised, and they are reflecting your dominant thoughts. So wherever your dominant focus is, that's what's happening. If you think you have slow movement with them, movement is very likely to slow down and just continue being slow, and you having this push and pull effect where you take a step forward but 2 steps back. You're constantly focused on the movement. Be careful, and it's not that you have to change every single manifesting belief, just focus on what it is that you want, but be aware, because that is likely to come up as a doubtful thought, as an intrusive thought, an opposing thought, obviously. So those kind of thoughts will come up potentially, and that's how you pinpoint, okay, this is where this is where maybe my dominant belief still is, this is my main concern that's holding me back, this is what's going on mentally. You can just kind of see where that issue is, of why maybe if you're not getting the movement that you want and things, your intuition is maybe saying, movement has been really slow. That's going to tell you why. And a part of how you're creating and getting all of this movement is also that SP is reflecting who you are, the version of you now. So not just who you are, descriptive terms, or the type of person you are, but what you believe about your life, yourself. Self-concept ties in if you have a poor self-concept. Not everyone has to focus on this. I would just say if it does plague your mind and interfere with manifesting your SP, comparisons, thinking about third parties, not being chosen, those kind of things, that's where self-concept comes in. But I'm talking mainly about the identity, your identity, right? So who you are being, the version of you that you are now. Do you feel and do you assume and connect to and feel that it's realistic to be chosen and prioritized and valued and loved and committed to? Can you see that happening? Does it feel that do you feel that you're worthy? Does it feel natural and something that you can have, and you can see that coming in your near future? You can see that manifestation and it feels natural. If the answer is yes, then that is the identity you want to keep tying into. And if no, then obviously you want to think about that and see, what's holding me back? How do I view my life? How do I view myself in the dating context and relationship context, in that part of my life? What are you actually thinking about yourself? Because it's not your specific person that you're convincing, it's yourself, it's your own mind, right? There's no one else that's controlling your reality or deciding, you know, this is who you have to be. Well, apart from my opinion, my belief is God, but that's completely different. That's in a positive way, but literally nothing on earth. No one else is, you know, deciding in your reality, certainly not your SP. And so your SP doesn't need convincing. Remind yourself. That's the positive part, that even if you're seeing something not great right now, it doesn't matter. It's temporary and they're not controlling your outcome or your reality. So what you need is consistency. That's the only thing your SP needs from you, for you to be consistent in your repetition, looping your affirmations, and just, or, you know, whatever format. I'm loving inner conversations, which is why my videos have tied that into my advice quite a lot. You want to remember that they are reflecting back to you in their treatment, in their feelings, in where they are in your reality, in your relationship, your dominant focus. They are reflecting back to you what you assume, what you keep repeating. A great point is that if your own mind is conforming, so is your specific person's. So with the consistency point, I am gonna in a moment move on to the next point, but I wanna finish up telling you guys how you're actually creating amazing movements so you can get this motivation and this boost. And in quantum terms, when you are holding onto a visual, when you're observing an idea, when you're observing an outcome, a concept, a statement, just focusing on one specific result, so to speak, you are creating and connecting that quantum frequency to that reality. You are literally connecting to the version of you in the near future that is already there, that already had, and I'm not talking about like time travel into a future reality, but like this reality that already exists, the concept potential reality that is in existence can be yours. You're literally connecting on a quantum level, a quantum frequency, because you're observing and mentally experiencing already being in that reality. So the more you hold on to that, the stronger that becomes, and the more you attract that reality to yourself. It's basically all about when you mentally embody and mentally identify and connect with being in the relationship. When you can do that, when you can hold that, when you can come back to that consistently, that's when you're building up huge momentum. So a couple questions I'll pose for you guys before I move on to the next section for you guys to maybe think about after the video. How would you think if you were already in this relationship? And what would you do if you were already in this relationship? Lots of different things, and I have highlighted this more in other videos, so I'm going to kind of go more briefly and just pinpoint simply the different areas here, but they will obviously increase or balance out and improve their communication with you. So even if it is just initiating communication, and remember, this can be done in any format in real life, on social media. You know, nowadays there's a million ways that communication can be done through a mutual contact. You know, don't limit yourself or try and figure out how, but yes, it's very likely that your SP or the right person for you will be communicating in a really caring, loving, romantic way, right? Like maybe it might even be breaking that platonic barrier. The communication will stabilize, improve, come in whatever way it needs to. And obviously that means that there's going to be much more of a focus and just like a focus, and it's going to be basically just you and your SP. There's not going to be any signs of a third party. There's not going to be any signs of a romantic third party or interference of a third party. That is going to minimize or stabilize or just not be there. And it shouldn't be in your mind. If it is, just keep applying your mental diet. The important point is that if you don't waver and you can predominantly focus on the end result as if it's here now, and have a dominant focus, not perfect, but dominant focus on already being in this relationship, then it's going to lead them into taking inspired action, the next steps, the bridge of events, everything that's part of movement, because it doesn't always have to be direct action, but that will come in. That will be the next stage. So if you don't waver, if you stay consistent, really apply your discipline and self-awareness, self-control wherever required, then you're being super consistent. You're connecting to that reality as if it's already here, and it is inevitable. So they will be inspired to then take action. The way they speak to you, and like I said, the assumptions that they hold, the viewpoint that they have going into dating, this relationship, whatever it is, will shift and align with what you're focused on. They'll be more open, more communicative. Their feelings will start to build naturally. Again, it's not forcing it. Whatever it is, whether they remember something about you, maybe it's love at first sight, they just think you're so attractive. Whatever it is, those feelings will naturally develop. And whatever negative past issues, circumstances, or blocks there may have been will just start to fade away, go away. Whether it's revision or, we don't figure out or focus on the how, it just comes together. And they will more and more consistently start becoming that version of themselves. They will identify as that new version, but it will be this natural unfolding process for them with whatever circumstances and situations and conversations that need to come about for that to become true and for them to really naturally get to that point. It will happen for them in their own reality. They are becoming more consistently this new version. And just remember along the way, a little point as well, is that you might still see and experience some hot and cold behavior where maybe, you see a little bit of reflections of the old version or some of your past concerns or dating worries that, or whatever it was that was dominant in your mind or that would come up as a visual or worry, or when you play out those what if scenarios or like any dating fails, that may rear its head back for a moment temporarily, but it'll just be the occasional situation. And if you don't panic, if you hold on to that, if you hold on to the new version of reality, hold on to what you're creating, what you're manifesting, then that'll just be a tiny blip that will go away. So ultimately, remember that the assumptions and beliefs that they hold are also shifting, also conforming to align with where your focus goes. Trust your intuition. You never need to force your manifestation. So trust when to take inspired action. You don't pre-plan it. You don't worry about it. You don't think out 100 scenarios and 100 questions that you have. You just say, okay, I'm going to focus on this mentally. It's going to happen naturally. Understanding the manifesting process, which I have loads of videos on. There's tons of resources and advice that you can learn if you're not 100% sure yet about how the manifesting process works. But essentially, you just want to trust yourself. It's you. It's your reality, your mind, your beliefs. No one's going to do it for you. And it's, your happiness and fulfillment at the end of the day. So people don't get to decide that for you. So trust your gut instinct, your intuition, and just knowing that, you don't need to force it or pre-plan things or try and make things happen. You will obviously very likely have some type of action that you take and inspired moments where it leads to something, a bridge of events or reaching out to your SP, even whatever it is, it'll be natural and slightly different for everyone. But again, remember, it's not about forcing or trying to say, okay, if I do this, this will happen. It does come together naturally. So just go about your day, living your life essentially, and just mentally focusing as if you already have this relationship. And again, regardless of what the 3D shows, I want to stress that you prioritize your own mental focus, your mental state. That's all that matters. Where are you at mentally? How do you feel? Not what is SP saying or doing. Regardless of what the 3D shows, it's about where you are at internally. So don't overanalyze their words or actions. You don't need to. It's not going to benefit you. Again, trust your gut instinct, your intuition. What feels like the right next step? What's the most positive decision that you could make in this moment? What's going to help you mentally feel and focus on that end result and literally think, okay, let me get back to that state of I'm already there. I'm already confident about the end result. So you want to really stay persistent with your repetition, whatever type of repetition you're doing, stay consistent with that because your subconscious mind learns from that consistency. That's how it's going to pick up new beliefs and bring in the outcome that you actually want. And again, it will build up naturally. It will come together. The movement will unfold naturally. You don't need to panic. You don't need to worry or try and figure everything out all at once. So relax, try and stay on track, build up this consistent routine, focus on your self-awareness. And I think I'm going to leave my advice here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, maybe click the hype button below as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.